Being able to do your first pull-ups is actually one of the first major milestones that a lot of my trainees try to aim for. From beginners, intermediate, advanced, if you can't do pull-ups, you got a huge gap in strength that you need to address. So with that in mind, here are the 3 things we need to address to get stronger at pull-ups. It's no surprise that doing pull-ups actually involves a ton of upper back strength, especially the lats and the rhomboids. So first thing you need to address is getting stronger at rows, pull downs, and other movements similar. I recommend barbell rows, dumbbell rows. Any kind of row movement is going to help a lot because you're going to be able to load it up significantly heavy compared to a pull down, and it's going to help you start building toward, the grip strength, the bicep strength, and the upper back strength you need to start doing your first pull-ups. One of the main things that I have my clients do is work on pull downs. Until someone can get to at least half their body weight with pull downs for multiple sets of 10 reps, it's going to be very difficult to be able to get your first pull-ups in the first place. So until that is accomplished, we don't even bother trying to do negative pull-ups or other movements because the actual musculature isn't strong enough to even do them at the moment. And we want them to be strong and stable before we actually move on. And similar to my article on my website on building a bigger bench that I'm writing right now, if you want to get a bigger bench, you need to build a bigger back. And one of the main things that I recommend people do is actually building up their barbell row to being around as strong as their bench press. And this sounds like it's a pretty difficult thing to accomplish, which it is, because a lot of people, when they do the barbell rows, they're using a lot of momentum, they're swinging the weight up. We want strong, full range of motion reps that are 100% your movement. You're not using momentum the whole time to build up the upper back, to build the lats, the rhomboids, etc. If you can do this, I guarantee you're going to be able to do some pull-ups pretty easily. If you're 200 pounds and you can do 200-pound rows, there's no way in hell you're not going to be able to do pull-ups. So, first major point, build up your back, build up the musculature, the strength of all those muscle groups that are going to be working in the actual pull-up. And once we do that, we should be able to start doing some kind of pull-ups or some negative movements, things like that. Now, moving on. This actually goes hand in hand with building up the back strength. Grip strength is probably the most important factor that a lot of people are skipping when it comes to actually trying to do pull-ups. If you ever try to grab onto a pull-up bar and you can't even hold on to it, how do you expect to be able to do a pull-up? It's not going to happen. So, with that in mind, what we try to do with my trainees is working on the deadlift. Things like that where it's got a ton of weight on the bar, it's test your grip strength like crazy, but for some people you're going to have to do some other movements. So, things I recommend are things like farmer walks. If you're able to do farmer walks with, 100 pounds on each hand and, walking for a set distance, that's going to go a long way in helping you being able to do your pull-ups essentially. Also, on top of that, you can do pinch tests, basically, where you're squeezing the plates and you're holding onto them right out in front. If you can do those with, 2 10-pound plates and move up to like 25, 35, even 45 pounds, that's going to increase your grip strength like crazy. Other things you can do, towel pull downs. So you can set up a towel on your actual pull down, or you can use a rope, which I have right here. And if you do those, you're going to be able to use a lot more grip when you're pulling down with the implement, and it's going to make your biceps, your forearms, and your grip stronger, which is what you want. If you increase your grip strength, I guarantee you're going to be able to do pull-ups eventually. It just takes a lot of work. You just got to make sure that you put in the time, you consistently try to overload it like any other movement. And actually, here's another thing you can do. Weighted hangs, where you're just holding onto the pull-up bar. You just hold on the pull-up bar and you time how long you do it. It's kind of like a plank. You just hold it for 30 seconds to a minute. Hold it as long as you can. You can mix it up, whatever you want to do. As long as you're holding onto the bar and you're squeezing it with everything you got, it's going to go a long way in building up your grip strength. And here's another one that actually seems kind of obvious, but a lot of people seem to skip it. If you lose body fat, it's going to be easier to do pull-ups. Okay, but seriously, if you weigh 300 pounds and you're trying to do pull-ups, that's going to be very difficult. When I did my 18 reps of pull-ups, I was actually 275 pounds. And now, because of my anxiety and all the stuff that went on where I gained about 80 pounds due to just horrible panic attacks and everything, if you guys haven't heard about that story, there's a link up there. You can go check it out. But now, at this moment, even though I'm making this pull-up video, I can't actually do them because I gained a ton of weight from, my mental illness, which is horrible. But that's the kind of stuff that you need to think about. If you're trying to do pull-ups for the first time, or you weigh too much in general, you need to lose some body fat and get your body weight lower. If you do that, if you go from 300 pounds to 250 pounds, even less than that, like 10 pounds. Imagine 10 pounds strapped around your waist. Like that's what you're kind of cutting off right there. If you go from 250 to 225 or 200, I guarantee if you're working on your back strength, your pull-ups are going to be able to go up. So if that's something you're trying to work on, lose some body fat. Now, when it comes to actually implementing these changes that I'm talking about, there's a couple things you want to think about. First of all, for the back. For the back, when you're actually trying to train it, you want to do at least 1 day of vertical pulling and 1 day of horizontal pulling a week. And the reason for this is that if you're only doing, one back workout a week, that's not enough time to actually build up the muscle. The more times you train a muscle and recover from it, the stronger it's gonna be, the faster it's gonna be. So definitely make sure that you're training at least 2 times a week on the back. I recommend for people that are, they're trying really hard to do the pull-ups as fast as possible, maybe even 2 exercises per day. So for instance, say we do Tuesday and Saturday are 2 days where we're doing back work. Tuesday, we can do heavy barbell rows and lighter pull downs. And then on the other day, we can do heavier pull downs, other type of movements that are similar, such as rack chins, which I'll go over right here. Things like that, where you're doing heavier weight and it's actually a little bit harder, you can do that. And then for the horizontal pulling movement for that day, we can go higher reps, like 10 to 20 reps. So in general, when you're trying to do heavy movements for the back, it's gonna be around 5 to 10 reps per set. So things like barbell rows, you can go very heavy with as long as your form is locked in. And then as for the actual pull downs, we want to keep that more in the 10 to 20 rep range, because it's very hard to do that correctly if you're just using a lot of weight and heaving it. So really think about squeezing the back, pulling the shoulder blades together, and just working on it like more of like a pump type of thing and build up some muscle. And this last one's for those that are beginners in nature, or people that just haven't been training their upper back very hard. Things like pull-aparts, I recommend 50 to 100 reps every workout for new people until you get up to some heavier bands essentially, because this is a very good movement for building up the upper back and getting some strength in there. That the stability for the upper back is very, very important for pull-ups. So if you haven't been training your upper back, make sure you do stuff like that, like pull-aparts. You can do face pulls, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you do it consistently and try to build some muscle in your upper back. And that's it for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, you learned a lot, leave a comment below. Let me know what you did to build your first pull-ups, or if any of these tips I gave you today are actually things that you haven't even thought about that you can do for yourself. Also, if you guys liked the video, make sure to like the damn video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, if you guys are enjoying the content and you want to see more, I have a bunch of articles up on my website, DanteRedgraveStrength.com. The link will be down in the description box. And that's it for me. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Until next time, Dante Redgrave.